The bass pounded through Club Lunar, making the floor vibrate beneath Zara's stilettos. She moved through the crowd like she owned the place, because in a way, she did. Every eye followed her, every man wanted her attention, and she knew it. "Another round for my girls," Zara called out, her dark curls cascading over her shoulders as she laughed. Her friends cheered, raising their glasses. "Girl, you've turned down 5 guys tonight," her best friend Maya said, shaking her head in amusement. "When are you going to give someone a chance?" Zara smirked, taking a sip of her cocktail. "When someone worth my time shows up. These boys can't handle a woman like me." "You're impossible," Maya laughed. "No, I'm selective. There's a difference." That's when she felt it, a presence that made the hair on the back of her neck stand up. The crowd seemed to part instinctively, and Zara's eyes were drawn to the VIP section she hadn't noticed before. He sat alone in the shadows, but even from a distance, she could see he was different. Tall, broad-shouldered, with dark hair and eyes that seemed to glow amber in the dim light. He wasn't looking at her like the other men. He was watching her like a predator watching prey. "Who's that?" Zara asked, intrigued despite herself. Maya followed her gaze and her face paled slightly. "That's Dominic Kane. He owns half the city, apparently. Nobody knows much about him except that you don't want to cross him." "He's staring at me." "Yeah, I noticed. Maybe we should." But Zara was already walking toward him, her hips swaying confidently. She'd never backed down from a challenge, and she wasn't about to start now. She stopped at the velvet rope separating the VIP section. The security guard moved to stop her, but Dominic raised one hand, and the man stepped aside immediately. "Can I help you?" His voice was deep, rough, with an edge that sent an unexpected shiver down her spine. "You've been staring at me all night," Zara said boldly, placing one hand on her hip. "Either buy me a drink or look somewhere else." His lips curved into the ghost of a smile. "Confident, I like that." "I'm not here for what you like." She tilted her head, studying him. "Though I'll admit, you're more interesting than the usual crowd here." "Is that so?" He stood, and Zara had to crane her neck to meet his eyes. He was even bigger up close, radiating an intensity that should have scared her but instead made her pulse quicken. "It is, but don't get excited. No man can handle me. I've broken hearts from here to Miami." Dominic stepped closer, close enough that she could smell his cologne, something wild and earthy like pine and rain. "You think very highly of yourself." "I have reason to." "And what if I told you that I'm not like other men?" Zara laughed, a throaty sound that usually drove men crazy. "They all say that. Then they realize I'm too much woman for them and they run with their tails between their legs." Something flashed in his eyes, amusement, maybe, or something darker. Interesting choice of words. "What's that supposed to mean?" He leaned down, his breath warm against her ear. "It means, little firecracker, that you have no idea what you're dealing with. But I'm going to enjoy watching you find out." Before she could respond, he pulled back and gestured to the seat beside him. "Sit. Have that drink you demanded. Let's see if you're as untamable as you claim." Zara knew she should walk away. Every instinct she'd honed over years of dealing with cocky men told her this one was different, dangerous even. But she'd never been good at listening to her instincts when they told her to play it safe. She sat down, crossing her legs elegantly. "One drink, then we'll see who's handling who." Dominic's smile widened, showing teeth that seemed just a little too sharp in the flickering lights. "Deal." Neither of them noticed the full moon rising outside the club windows, or the way Dominic's eyes flashed golden when Zara laughed at something he said. The game had begun, and Zara had no idea she'd just challenged the most dangerous man, or rather, the most dangerous creature in the city. Chapter 2, the morning after. Zara woke up with sunlight streaming through unfamiliar floor-to-ceiling windows. Her head was fuzzy, but not from alcohol. She'd barely had 2 drinks. It was something else, something that made her feel like she'd been running for miles in her sleep. She sat up quickly and immediately regretted it. This wasn't her apartment. The room was massive, decorated in dark woods and leather, with a view of the city that told her she was at least 30 floors up. The bed she was in felt like sleeping on a cloud, with silk sheets that probably cost more than her monthly rent. "Good morning." Zara yelped and grabbed the sheet to her chest, though she was relieved to find she was still fully clothed in last night's dress. Dominic stood in the doorway, holding 2 coffee mugs, wearing nothing but low-slung gray sweatpants. His chest was sculpted like he'd been carved from marble, with strange tattoos running down his ribs that looked almost like tribal markings. How did I get here?" Zara demanded, her heart racing. "You don't remember." He set one mug on the nightstand beside her, completely at ease. "You insisted on seeing where I lived, said something about proving you could handle my world. Then you fell asleep in the car." Fragmented memories came back, leaving the club, his sleek black car, feeling inexplicably exhausted. "You drugged me." "I did no such thing." His voice turned cold. "I don't need to drug women to get them into my bed, and even if I did, you'll notice you're still dressed and I slept on the couch." Zara studied him, her bullshit detector working overtime, but he seemed genuinely offended by the accusation. "Then, why don't I remember?" "You tell me. You started getting drowsy around midnight. I was going to take you home, but you'd never given me your address, and your phone was dead." That did sound like something that would happen to her. Maya was always on her about charging her phone. "Fine," Zara said, reaching for the coffee. It was perfect, exactly how she liked it, which should have been a red flag but felt oddly comforting. "I appreciate you being a gentleman, I guess. Now if you'll call me a car." "Have breakfast first. You must be hungry." She was actually, starving in fact. "What's the catch?" "No catch, just breakfast with someone who interests me." He moved to the window, looking out over the city. "You're not what I expected, Zara." "How do you know my name? I never told you." He pulled out her driver's license from his pocket. "It fell out when I carried you upstairs. I was going to return it." "You went through my wallet." "I looked at your ID to find your address. Your wallet stayed sealed otherwise." He tossed it to her, and she caught it reflexively, checking the contents. Everything was there, including the $200 in cash. "You're very suspicious," Dominic observed, amused. "I'm very smart. There's a difference." "Yes, you said something similar last night. About being selective, not impossible." Zara felt heat rise to her cheeks. How much had she told him? "Look, last night I was just having fun. I don't actually know how to be vulnerable." He turned to face her fully. "I noticed. You use confidence like armor. It's impressive, actually. Most people aren't that self-aware." "You don't know me." "Not yet, but I'd like to." He moved closer, and again that strange intensity washed over her. "Have breakfast with me, Zara. Then I'll take you home, and if you never want to see me again, I'll respect that." She should say no. She should grab her things and leave right now. But something about Dominic Kane made her curious in a way she hadn't felt in years. "Fine, breakfast, but I'm not promising anything." His smile was wolfish. "I wouldn't expect anything less." Chapter 3, The Truth Beneath. Over the next 2 weeks, Dominic Kane became a fixture in Zara's life in a way no man ever had before. He didn't push, didn't demand, he just appeared at her favorite coffee shop, outside her office building, at the gym where she took kickboxing classes. "Are you stalking me?" she asked one evening, finding him leaning against her car after work. "I'm courting you," he corrected. "There's a difference." "Courting? What are you, from the 1800s?" "Something like that." His eyes held that strange golden glint again. "Have dinner with me tonight, somewhere public if it makes you feel safer." "I'm not afraid of you," Zara said automatically, though she wasn't entirely sure that was true. "No, you're not. That's part of your problem." "Excuse me." Dominic stepped closer, and she felt that same pull she'd felt at the club, like gravity was working differently around him. "You walk through life like you're invincible, Zara. It's admirable, but it's also dangerous. You don't recognize threats when they're right in front of you." "And you're a threat." "To your peace of mind? Absolutely." He traced a finger along her jawline, and she hated how her breath caught. But I'd never hurt you, that's a promise. Despite every rule she'd ever made for herself about men, Zara found herself nodding. One dinner, but we're going Dutch. Deal. The restaurant he chose was elegant but not pretentious, with dim lighting and secluded booths. Zara had to admit he had good taste. Tell me about yourself, Dominic said once they'd ordered. The real you, not the armor you show the world. That's pretty personal for a first date. This is our 5th interaction. I'm done with surface level. Zara considered him over her wine glass. What do you want to know? Why you push everyone away. Why you need to be the untamable one. The question hit closer to home than she expected. Maybe I just like my independence. There's a difference between independence and isolation. And you're an expert on this because I've lived it. His expression grew serious. I know what it's like to feel like you don't fit anywhere, Zara, to be fundamentally different from everyone around you in ways you can't explain. Something in his tone made her pause. What do you mean? Dominic was quiet for a long moment, seeming to war with himself. Finally, he leaned forward. What if I told you that there are things in this world most people don't know about? Things that exist in the shadows. I'd say you've been watching too many supernatural dramas. Would you? His eyes flashed golden, clearly, unmistakably golden, and this time Zara knew she wasn't imagining it. Or would you recognize the truth when it's staring you in the face? Zara's heart started pounding. Your eyes. Change, yes. He didn't look away. There's something I need to tell you, and you're not going to believe me. Try me. I'm not entirely human, Zara. I'm a werewolf. An alpha, to be specific. And from the moment I saw you in that club, I knew you were meant to be mine. Zara stared at him for 3 full seconds before bursting out laughing. Okay, you had me going there for a minute. Werewolf, right, and I'm the Queen of England. I'm not joking. Sure you're not, she was still chuckling. Is this some kind of role-play thing? Because I'm not really into that. Dominic grabbed her wrist, not hard but firmly, and the moment his skin touched hers, Zara felt it. A jolt of something electric, something primal that shot straight through her nervous system. Her laughter died. What was that? Recognition, he said softly. Your soul knows mine, even if your mind doesn't accept it yet. Let go of me. He did immediately, holding up his hands. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to be honest. I've been alive for over 200 years, Zara. I lead a pack of wolves who live throughout this city. And when I saw you, I felt something I haven't felt in decades. A mate bond. This is insane. You're insane. Zara stood up, grabbing her purse. I don't know what kind of game you're playing. It's a full moon tonight, Dominic interrupted, standing as well. His voice was urgent now. If you want proof, meet me at Riverside Park at midnight. I'll show you exactly what I am. I'm not meeting you anywhere. You will because you're curious, because despite everything your logical mind is telling you, something inside you knows I'm telling the truth. He pulled out his wallet and threw cash on the table. Midnight, Zara, the old oak tree near the north entrance. Come alone. Then he turned and walked out, leaving Zara standing there, her mind reeling. She should go home. She should block his number. She should forget this whole thing. But at 11:45 p.m., she found herself parking her car at Riverside Park, her hands shaking on the steering wheel. This is stupid, she muttered. He's probably just some weirdo with contacts. But she got out of the car anyway and started walking toward the north entrance, toward the old oak tree, toward answers she wasn't sure she wanted. The moon was enormous overhead, full and bright, and somewhere in the distance, Zara could have sworn she heard a wolf howl. Chapter 4, The Transformation. The park was eerily quiet. All the usual sounds, distant traffic, night birds, even the wind, seemed muted, as if the world was holding its breath. Zara's footsteps crunched on the gravel path leading to the old oak tree, each step feeling more surreal than the last. I can't believe I'm actually here, she whispered to herself. Maya would have me committed. You came. Zara spun around to find Dominic standing 10 feet away. She hadn't heard him approach. He just appeared, like a shadow materializing from the darkness. He was dressed simply in jeans and a t-shirt, barefoot despite the cool autumn night. "I came to prove you're full of it," Zara said, crossing her arms to hide the fact that her hands were trembling. "So go ahead, do your little trick." Dominic's expression was somber. "What you're about to see will change everything, Zara. You can't unsee it. You can't unknow it. Are you sure?" "Stop stalling and—" The words died in her throat as Dominic stepped into a shaft of moonlight, and his whole body began to shimmer. Not like a special effect, not like a hallucination. This was real, happening right in front of her. His bones began to shift with sounds that made Zara's stomach turn. His back arched, his jaw elongated, his hands twisted into claws. Dark fur rippled across his skin like a living wave. The transformation took maybe 30 seconds, but it felt like an eternity. Where Dominic Kane had stood, there was now a massive black wolf, easily 5 feet tall at the shoulder, with golden eyes that gleamed with unmistakable intelligence. Zara stumbled backward, her mind trying desperately to rationalize what she was seeing. No, this can't be. The wolf, Dominic, stepped toward her slowly, carefully, as if approaching a spooked deer. When he was close enough, he lowered his massive head and looked up at her with those eerily familiar golden eyes. Zara's legs gave out, and she sat down hard on the grass, her breathing coming in short gasps. Oh my God, this is real, you're real. Werewolves are real." The wolf made a low, rumbling sound, not a growl, something gentler, and carefully laid his head in her lap. Despite her shock, despite everything her rational mind was screaming, Zara found her hand moving almost of its own accord to touch his fur. It was thick and warm and impossibly soft. "You're beautiful," she whispered without thinking. The wolf's tail wagged once, and if Zara didn't know better, she'd swear he looked pleased with himself. They sat like that for several minutes, Zara processing while Dominic gave her space to do so. Finally, she spoke again. "Can you understand me right now?" The wolf nodded, actually nodded, and Zara had to laugh despite herself, a slightly hysterical sound. Okay, so werewolves are real. What else is real? Vampires, dragons, fairies." The wolf cocked his head thoughtfully, then nodded again. "Jesus Christ." Zara ran her free hand through her curls. "And you're an alpha, what does that even mean?" The wolf pulled back, and Zara watched in fascination as the transformation reversed. Bones cracked and reformed, fur receded, and within moments, Dominic knelt before her, human again, breathing heavily from the exertion. "It means I'm the leader," he said hoarsely. "I have a pack, about 40 wolves who live throughout the city under my protection. I'm responsible for them, for keeping them safe, for maintaining the secrecy of our existence." "And you're 200 years old." 237, actually." Zara stared at him. "You don't look a day over 30. "We age slowly, very slowly." He sat back on his heels. "I know this is a lot." "A lot, Dominic, you just turned into a wolf in front of me. My entire understanding of reality just got shattered." But even as she said it, Zara felt something settling inside her, something that felt almost like relief. "That's why you said I don't recognize threats, because there are actual monsters in the world." "Not monsters," Dominic corrected gently. "Just different. Most supernatural beings just want to live their lives in peace. We're not the creatures from horror stories." "Most. There are always exceptions. Rogues who don't respect the rules, young wolves who can't control themselves during the full moon, vampires who prefer hunting to blood bags." He reached out slowly, giving her time to pull away, and took her hand. "That's why I've been watching you, Zara. You're fearless in ways that could get you killed if you stumbled into the wrong situation." "Is that the only reason?" She searched his face. "You said something about a mate bond." Dominic's jaw tightened. "Yes, in wolf culture we have fated mates, someone whose soul calls to ours. It's rare, precious. Some wolves go their entire lives without finding theirs. I've lived over 2 centuries without feeling it." His golden eyes locked onto hers. "Until I saw you in that club, dancing like you didn't have a care in the world. The bond snapped into place so hard it nearly knocked me over. Zara's heart was racing again, but not from fear this time. What does that mean exactly? It means you're mine if you'll have me. My equal, my partner, my everything. It means I would do anything to protect you, to make you happy, to keep you safe. He squeezed her hand. But it also means the choice is yours, Zara. Free will always trumps biology. You can walk away from this from me, and I'll respect that, even though it would kill me. You said I can't handle being vulnerable, Zara said softly. That I use confidence as armor. I did. You're right. The admission hurt, but it felt necessary. I've spent my whole life proving I don't need anyone, that I'm too strong to be broken. After my dad left, after watching my mom fall apart, I promised myself I'd never be that weak. Needing someone isn't weakness. Isn't it? Zara pulled her hand away, standing up and packing. Look at me, Dominic. I came here tonight even though I thought you were crazy. I touched you even though you were a literal wolf. I'm sitting here listening to you talk about fate and mates and supernatural politics, and instead of running away screaming, I'm considering it. Considering what? She turned to face him. Considering that maybe, just maybe, I've finally met someone who actually can handle me. Because you're not human. Because you're just as impossible as I am. Dominic stood slowly, a smile tugging at his lips. So the woman who claimed no man could handle her has met her match in a man who's not entirely human. There's a certain poetry to that. Don't let it go to your head, wolf boy. But Zara was smiling too, feeling lighter than she had in years. I have questions, lots of questions, about your world, about what this mate bond thing actually entails, about. I'll answer all of them, Dominic promised, closing the distance between them. But first, can I kiss you? I've been wanting to since that first night at the club. You've been very patient. I'm 200 years old. Patience comes with the territory. Zara pretended to consider it. I suppose you've earned it, just this once. He kissed her before she could finish the sentence, and Zara felt that electric connection again, stronger now, like a circuit completing. His lips were gentle but insistent, and she found herself melting into him, all her defenses crumbling. When they finally broke apart, both breathing heavily, Dominic rested his forehead against hers. Still think no man can handle you, he murmured. Zara laughed, the sound genuine and joyful. The jury's still out, Alpha, but you're the first one who's ever made me want to find out. I'll take it, he pulled back slightly. Come on, let me take you home. We have a lot to discuss, and you're going to need time to process all this. Will I see you tomorrow? Zara, you're going to see me every day for the rest of your life if I have anything to say about it. His eyes flashed golden again. That's the thing about wolves. When we find our mate, we don't let go. For the first time in her life, the thought of someone being that committed to her didn't make Zara want to run. Instead, it made her feel safe. Good, she whispered, because I don't plan on making this easy for you. Dominic's laugh echoed through the empty park. I wouldn't expect anything less. As they walked back to her car, Zara's hand in his, she couldn't help but think that maybe, just maybe, she'd been wrong all along. Maybe it wasn't about finding someone who could handle her. Maybe it was about finding someone wild enough to run beside her. And in Dominic Kane, she'd found exactly that. Epilogue, 6 months later. You're nervous. Zara glared at Dominic from the passenger seat of his car. I'm not nervous. Your heart rate increased 15 beats per minute about 5 miles back, and you've been fidgeting with your bracelet for the last 10 minutes. He glanced at her with amusement. I can literally smell your anxiety, love. I hate your supernatural senses, Zara muttered, but there was no heat in it. And yes, fine, I'm nervous. I'm about to meet your entire pack, your family. What if they hate me? They won't hate you. How can you be sure? Dominic pulled the car over to the side of the road, put it in park, and turned to face her fully. Because they've already heard all about the human woman who stole their alpha's heart. Because Marcus, my beta, said if you can make me smile the way I do now, you're worth your weight in gold. And because, he leaned over to kiss her softly, you're amazing, and anyone with sense will see that immediately. Zara wanted to argue, but the sincerity in his eyes melted her defenses. It still amazed her sometimes how safe she felt with him, how seen. What if I embarrass you? Impossible. What if I say something stupid about pack dynamics, or accidentally insult someone, or... Zara, Dominic cupped her face in his hands. You walked up to an alpha werewolf in a nightclub and told him he couldn't handle you. You demanded proof when I told you what I was. You've learned more about our world in 6 months than some humans learn in years. You're fearless, brilliant, and you keep me on my toes every single day. His smile turned wolfish. My pack is going to love you, and if anyone doesn't, they'll answer to me. Overprotective much. Always, it's part of the package. Zara laughed, feeling her anxiety ease. Fine, let's do this. But if anyone challenges me to a howling contest, I'm blaming you. Noted. Dominic put the car back in gear, but not before adding, though for the record, your attempt at howling last week was adorable. I was trying to be supportive during the full moon run. And it was very sweet, very human. Zara punched his arm, but she was grinning. This was her life now. Supernatural politics, full moon logistics, and a 200-year-old werewolf who looked at her like she hung the stars. And for a woman who'd spent her whole life claiming no one could handle her, Zara had to admit, being handled by Dominic Kane was turning out to be the best thing that had ever happened to her. Even if his pack did laugh at her howling.